How do you get involved? How do we organize and win the green vision? There's a lot of discussion on exactly what the best strategy looks like for the Green Party, and I think part of the answer is that there doesn't have to be one answer. There's a multi-pronged approach is what we need to be involved in activism, to be involved in elections, to do ballot referendums like we were talking about. There's many different avenues that we can follow here to try to implement our policy and to change the system as it works today. So some resources, for example, is that Howie Hawkins wrote The Case for an Independent Left Party from the Bottom Up. It's a very short book. It's a short ebook, but it has some short essays in it about why an independent political party like the Green Party is necessary to help organize all of these tactics that we can use to implement our policy. So I would definitely recommend that you check that out to learn a little bit more about how the Green Party fits in. But like we said, we can use a combination of things such as, organizing around local issues, supporting workers and local unions, creating mutual aid organizations, supporting elections at all levels of office, but especially local office, where Greens very often do run and win and do good stuff like we were talking about earlier. And to utilize our national campaigns to help to get the ballot access for our local elections and to get our message out around, all of the barriers that we have with media and things like that. It's tough, but if we organize together, we can do it.
Yeah, and I just want to double down on what Garrett said about, a multitude of tactics. One of the things you hear a lot on, social media and stuff like that is this idea of, and Howie ran on a left unity campaign. Right, mm-hmm. we had the endorsement of multiple left parties, but this idea that the entire left just needs to lockstep right now and go. And the reality is, if the entire left lockstepped right now, we'd still have less than 2% of the vote. None of us have figured out tactically what is necessary to succeed and win across the board in United States politics. Right, we don't have the answers. Right. And there are some people who, and we can learn from each other. We can learn from the Green movement. We can learn from socialist projects around the world, but, past and present. But the reality is we're all dealing with our own unique, it's a very Marxist idea. We're all dealing with our own very unique material conditions that we have to address, and they're all interconnected, but they're unique. And so I am 100% all for a multiplicity of tactics, right? Until one of us figures it out. When somebody figures it out and all of a sudden they're carrying 20% of the vote consistently, maybe we should start thinking about unify lockstep, right? But the reality is, outside of like a presidential campaign where it does make sense, right? We should be working for solidarity. We should be supporting other leftist organizations. We should be supporting the ideas that our members come to with us, right? We should be letting people engage in things that they're passionate about and things that allow them to utilize their skills to make change, right? So I'm a very, very big advocate, especially right at our current state right now, that we try a little bit of everything, right? We're a movement and an electoral party. We're already a little bit of everything, but we should really be diversifying our tactics, testing things out, seeing what works here, what works there, and sharing with each other. It's one of the, to say something critical about the party, it's one of the things that we failed at in decentralization. Decentralization should require very high levels of communication and coordination, so that you can operate independently, but you can share and support. And the party often fails in that measure, in that area. Decentralization it often manifests in the Green Party as a lack of communication, as a lack of coordination, where what it really requires is a very high. Decentralization is a harder way to do the work than centralization. It requires a lot more control, a lot more, sustainable systems. So it's something we got to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but there's also a lot of room for experiment and supporting each other in solidarity. So, and I think the Green Party, while we do have a lot to learn about things like communication, I think it could also be and is a very good vehicle for us to come together and do that communication and talk about our successes and our failures locally and how we can learn from one another and support one another, so that we can find the thing that works, like Chris was talking about, so that we can build a mass movement, a mass working party, just like that text is talking about. So there's a lot of options to be involved in the Green Party. So, if you lean toward elections, that's okay. If you lean toward activism, that's okay. If you lean toward helping unions, that's okay. If you want to do mutual aid, that's okay. I hope that, whatever you're doing, you also help join us in the Green Party and communicate with us and let us know how we can help each other and support each other.